Oysters, Clams, and Cockles. I am Ross Bolen here with my buddy Barrett Dudley to bring you the best TV shows and movies weekly in an easily digestible podcast packed with laughs. Barrett, let us hear that spicy baritone.
Oh, another helping, huh?
Uh-huh.
Going for seconds because it's Thanksgiving.
Well, and because it's...
You're just gonna put a little put of OCC in the fridge, huh? Come back, make a little OCC sandwich later.
We got some shellfish left over. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
okay because oysters keep very well.
Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
For weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
You can leave them out. Don't even need refrigeration.
Yeah.
And they stay fresh.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you will not get an upset stomach.
Nope.
You'll be totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We have another fun podcast today. We're covering Watchmen, continuing our coverage of Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 5. We are discussing the first couple episodes of Disney Plus's The Man's DeLorean, I believe is what it's is it The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to, not the Manchurian Candidate.
And you're thinking of Back to the Future.
Oh, yes. Okay.
In which, that man has a DeLorean.
Well, it's fun to call it that and really upset the Star Wars folks. I was thinking about it on the way over here, Barrett. I was like, considering our rundown today and the shows we're discussing, I think we've killed off all the non-nerd fans we had. Like, if you're still riding at this point, you're at least partially a nerd because we're deep into Watchmen, which is about as nerdy as it gets. And then we're dumping into a Star Wars franchise, and it's just getting real nerdy over here, and I like that.
But I think that the nerds, and I'm including myself in this, and in the group of nerds because we're watching all the shows too.
Oh, yeah.
We're the ones out here listening to podcasts and making podcasts.
We are. We're podcast people.
It's like
fits.
I don't know what the non-nerds are even watching. They out there watching
only sports ball.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Peaky Blinders. That's not nerdy, is it? That seems like a man show. That
it
seems
is
like
a man show.
A gritty man show.
That's a good point. We're balancing it out a little today with some Peaky Blinders talk, which is going to be nice.
Yeah.
And also has been demanded at a volume that we are now.
I know what the men are watching. Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Which we just
I tried.
It's the one that got away, guys.
I tried again, and with Bruce, and I was like, "Listen, man, my dog's name is Bruce," and I was like, "Listen, man, we had this whole pep talk before. There are going to be horses. I know you're going to be upset, but let's try to minimize it so Dad can enjoy this fucking incredible television series featuring Kevin Costner."
Yeah.
And no, he's not having it. No. If Bruce is going to have to be on vacation at some point, and then I'll catch that show.
Maybe Goliath. I think that's about oil.
Oh. They could be watching that as well.
They could be watching that, yeah.
When we had Succession.
But no, we've really boiled
They were
it.
okay.
That's true. That's true.
But now
we're riding on a lot of fantasy and science fiction, I guess.
Well, in all fairness, this show was built on Game of Thrones, which is as nerdy and fantastical as it gets.
Right.
So I guess it shouldn't be all that shocking. I was just sort of giggling to myself, like, Watchmen and Star Wars.
Yeah.
We're really doing it. This episode of OCC is brought to you by Leesa. I routinely argue that your mattress is up there with your TV in terms of important purchases you make for your home. So you have to ask yourself, is your mattress kind of shitty? Do you even remember where it came from? Do you wake up every morning feeling like you've won the lottery because your mattress is so damn comfortable? I do on my Hybrid by Leesa. It's time for you to join me. Barrett as well. Leesa knows how important rest is to a better life. Leesa is the foundation of a healthier, happier you. And to Leesa, a bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's a place for relaxation and rest. I've been sleeping on their Hybrid mattress for over 3 years now. Most comfortable bed I've ever laid eyes or body on. I recommend it to everyone I know. They've been supporting Bolen Media, OCC, and RBP for a very long time. Leesa's fantastic. Their pillows, their blankets are also incredible. All of their products have been thoughtfully designed to go beyond creating a comfortable bed to transform your bedroom into a sanctuary you want to spend time in. Their most advanced luxury Hybrid mattress, the one that I have, the one that Barrett has, is made with premium foams and springs for enhanced pressure relief with edge-to-edge support. The Hybrid, thoughtfully designed with the best of both worlds. Love it. They believe all people should have access to deep rest and relaxation at Leesa, and as such, they make it easy for their customers to know they've made the right choice through their social impact initiatives tied to each purchase. Leesa donates one mattress for every 10 they sell through organizations that work in causes like foster care prevention. To date, they've donated more than 33,000 mattresses through more than 1,000 nonprofits. Leesa mattresses are made in the USA In-home delivery and setup is available. Financing is also available. Do not miss out, Clam Fam. Live healthier, live happier by resting deeper. Order today and get 15% off any mattress for a limited time at Leesa.com/dragon. Use the promo code DRAGON. That's LEESA.com/dragon. Promo code DRAGON. Do it, Barrett. Yeah. What's up on Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles for the lovely month of November? For those of you who are unaware, if you're like, I need more OCC, there's one place you can get it, patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. And coincidentally, as we have launched into the video side of our podcast at the end of 2019, that is currently the only place other than live on Twitch when we are recording. Shouts to everybody on twitch.com/BossRollin right now, or twitch.tv, excuse me. It's the only place you can watch video of you and I, Barrett. Did you know? That you can see and hear.
Yeah.
Add another sense in.
That's true. People apparently, they really like to do this. They like to watch their podcasters
talk.
Yes. Instead of just listen to them.
It's an added element.
It's right. It adds a third dimension, if you will.
Mm-hmm. I just took a sip of water. The people not watching, they didn't know.
They didn't know.
They
had no idea.
No clue.
Unless because of the lack of the third dimension, their other sensors are finely tuned.
They're heightened,
and they could hear you sipping water through the microphone. It's possible. You never know.
With their bat ears.
But yes, if you want to see the video, it's on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles.
If you're listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud right now and you're wondering to yourself, what would it be like to watch them? You can literally go find out right now. It's there. It's probably there by the time you're listening to this. We have Mike and the guys at Permanent Record have the system down so pat now that I'm getting the episodes pretty much by the time I get home from the studio, and then they go up. So if the podcast is up, the video is probably there. You'll be able to see on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles if it's not. But the video has been an incredible added element, and I'm glad that y'all are all enjoying it. Everybody in the Mollusk Militia and the Crustacean Nation. Barrett, what else do we have coming in November? What's available already?
Boy, howdy. We did a movie club.
We did.
On Parasite.
On a fantastic film called Parasite that opened at a relatively small clip.
Shouts to all my Parasites out there.
Shouts to everybody who made it to the theaters to watch this one and enjoy it with us. And shouts to those, I saw a little bit of frustration. There was one guy who was like, it wasn't in the goddamn theater in my city long enough. You'll catch it when it's on. True. It'll be on TV or on demand at some point soon.
Because it didn't get a super wide release.
Yeah, which there's a weird strategy to that. That's another conversation for another podcast.
Sure.
But Parasite was awesome. We've been making jokes about it. I just basically yell, respect Mr. Park a lot.
Park. Yeah.
That's the only joke I have. But the movie was incredible, and we had a great discussion about it. It was a lot of fun. Movie Club, Parasite, already available.
Do you know what movie I guarantee you is in a theater near you, listeners?
Which one?
Joker.
Oh, yeah.
So, and if you haven't gotten around to see that yet, I'd be shocked because it's made $14 billion or something like that now.
Uh-huh.
So chances are you've probably already seen it. But maybe you didn't know that was our movie club
in October.
Month. So you could go listen to that movie club as well.
Yeah, when you join on Patreon, you'll immediately gain access to our entire backlog of content. So not only will you get the additional episodes for the month of November that are all ad-free, by the way. Everything on Patreon is brought to you ad-free by you, unless you're watching the video of an ad-based podcast, in which case we're going to do ad reads. But you get the point. For the extra stuff that we're providing y'all, there are no ads. And we did Joker for October. We did The Righteous Gemstones Season 1 coverage, Fleabag Season 2. Fleabag Season 1 coverage is back even further than October. You can go hit that. We've got Hotline Call extravaganzas for the last several months for members of the Mollusk Militia on our $10 tier. There's all kinds of good stuff there. If you want to support OCC and what we've got going here and support the Clam Fam and also get some extra content out of it, some ad-free content, and some visual eye candy, now's the time. Patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. Also makes a great gift.
It's the holidays.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's spending season,
Buy
Barrett.
yourself something nice.
Treat yourself,
like
you
a
fool.
subscription to our Patreon.
You want to see this man's flow right now. You're going to want to see this hair. Barrett's,
it's late in the day. It gets a little greasy, but I guess maybe you want to see that.
I wanted to see it. I'm enjoying it. Close up and personal. Also, the cameras are insanely high quality. They're 4K or something. I don't know anything about them. But when I was going through the Twitch, I was looking at the comments on our Twitch feed from the other day when we recorded, and somebody was like, my God, this is very high quality. And they said, Ross, you need to step up your home camera setup because I make pornography in my home. Not. I play video games on Twitch in my spare time, and apparently the camera that I use is not up to par. So that has been one downside of the video experience, Barrett.
Well, you got to spend money to make money, Ross.
That's what they say. You ready to talk about Watchmen?
Let's watch some men
Okay. Season 1.
get in a DeLorean. Yes.
Episode 5. It was called Little Fear of Lightning. Producer Mike has not watched,
God, Mike.
which is crushing. A
Yeah.
crushing
Sorry.
blow.
Yeah, I know.
You should be. But here's the
sorry.
good news. Mike also produces a show called Who Pods the Watchmen, where they've already discussed this episode, so he's at least aware.
I've been spoiled already.
Okay, we're not going to be ruining anything for Mike, which is the most important thing.
That's good. That's good.
And I'm sure he'll still have some insight. But this week, as we knew we were going to from the preview from episode 4, we were going to focus more on Looking Glass.
Yes.
And he was sort of our vehicle to take us through this one. And as a result, the biggest initial thing we get to experience is that we knew he was there when the squid attack happened, but we get to watch it.
Yes.
And we get to see him experience it, and it goes down in like in the worst possible fashion. I mean, what kind of mission is he there on? Or he's like
he's either
Mormon,
he's either a
possibly?
Mormon or like a Jehovah's Witness.
and they're showing up to this carnival to try to spread the word, and then he gets flirted with by this like hot gothic babe who brings him into the Hall of Mirrors and fakes a blowjob.
I would
to
have
get
gone
him.
in there and taken my pants off with her too. I'm not gonna lie.
Every single one of us would have, Barrett. We all would have no clothes.
Yeah.
Coming out with no clothes. But yeah, so then he comes out with no clothes and everybody's fucking toast.
Yes.
Because the giant squid dropped by, I'm not sure, by Ozymandias. He's behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Had hit. And what city did it hit?
New York City.
Okay, New York City.
Manhattan. But the blast, obviously
the shock
the
radius.
psychic blast.
The psychic blast.
That's what the weapon was basically like. It exploded people's brains basically with a psychic blast.
Okay, so this psychic blast, Mike, I don't know if you can speak to this at all. The psychic blast created by the squid that still is affecting Looking Glass, that is part of the reason he wears the translucent looking whatever. Translucent's another superhero from another show. This is getting confusing.
Yeah.
From The Boys.
We can
that
just
also
call it
covered.
tinfoil because that's kind of like that's like the tongue-in-cheek part of it is
Sure.
that he's literally wearing a tinfoil hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it has caused him to be like paranoid and what's the impact of the psychic blast supposed to be?
We never got down to the specifics of it in the graphic novel, but
So it's always sort of just this element that's out there?
yeah, what was predicted was that it was just going to potentially hit every man, woman, and child and cause some kind of breakdown or friction in their mind to where everybody is affected by this squid. And it would kill most people or many people and just affect everybody. But
Yeah,
we
'cause
don't know what the lasting effects are. And I think that's what the show's gonna explore.
Got it. So it took out, what did they say, 2 or 3 million people?
It
Right.
kills like 3 million people.
Okay.
Within
and then,
the radius, yeah.
and then the psychic blast has a lasting impact on many people as well. And again, to sort of wrap that up into a bow, the concept behind the squid, as sort of presented in this episode later by Ozymandias, is that he was trying to save the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
In his mind, right? Yeah. So we'll see how all that plays into.
Yeah, and I mean, right, and that's I thought it was interesting because, well, one, this episode of the show, you know, we talk about this a lot. This was a lot of exposition in this show. It was a big info dump, but it was done in a really, really well executed way by like couching it all in the story of Wade and kind of how he became who he is today.
Yes.
Super, super great episode. Really nice way to like package up all the info that we needed in this, you know, very like intriguing human story. Right. So I did think that was interesting. Just to jump right into like that Ozymandias video that we see. They make it sound like, look, killing 3 million people is never good, but if the alternative was that everybody in the United States died.
Right, because
then he made the only decision that
he could make. His belief was that nuclear holocaust was going to wipe out everyone, and this giant squid scheme was the way to prevent that from happening. And the other thing we find out is that this, and which is apparently not something many people know in this universe, the squid didn't actually come from another dimension.
Right.
It was manifested on Earth.
It's manufactured.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, on Earth.
Which makes it even more confusing and strange of a concept.
Yeah.
That it was it's not an alien squid.
No,
it's a
no.
made squid for this only purpose, and
Man-made, yes.
somehow someone made a squid with a psychic blast that comes out of its ass.
I'm just thinking more about the question of morality or anything. I don't know. I'm sure that some of our listeners have watched The Good Place.
Mhm.
Really, really good, awesome 30-minute show.
I love that show.
That that has no right being on NBC. It absolutely feels like it's a much higher minded show than a network sitcom. And I'm not caught up on the most recent. I'm not caught up on the last 2 seasons, the one that's currently airing and the one that just got on Netflix. So don't tweet at me with like questions about what's going on. But it's in the early episodes, one of the interesting things about it is that you kind of like start to explore all these various kind of styles of morality that different philosophers came up with.
Sure.
And so all of the types are slipping my mind right now. But there are so many different types of quote unquote morality, like how you frame what's right and what's wrong,
Right.
basically.
Okay.
And so some styles would say that, well, no matter what, it's never right to kill 3 million people. Like an absolutist or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You can't kill 3 million people. It's wrong.
And then on the flip side,
there's like moral relativity, right? It's like, well, you killed 3 million people
to save 10 million.
to save a
Or
billion or whatever
Sure,
it was. And so you've got all sorts of stuff like that. And then I started thinking about the Dark Knight, where it's like each boat has the trigger to kill the other boat and save themselves.
Right.
And like neither one of them does it.
Right.
So like maybe that's what you were supposed to do on this, on this imminent eve of mutually assured destruction between the Soviet Union and the United States, is just like sit there and wait and hope that neither boat actually pulls that trigger.
Right.
It's just interesting concept to start to really dive into and start thinking about.
And it puts this guy, Ozymandias, who's stuck on this moon or whatever the hell, in a weird spot for us because we don't know how to judge him. Did he do something that saved a lot of lives, or did he do? Because he seems like a sort of a precarious individual. I don't really know what to make of this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he's often clones like hotcakes.
He's got a god complex, right? Like this
I
dude
would say
thinks
so.
that he's a god, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which has caused. So I just don't know what to make of the old man. And he's up there. He gets out of his bubble, his Truman Show bubble.
Yeah.
And gets onto like the surface of whatever planet.
Okay, I think that what we saw is that he's on a moon of another planet. Probably Mars, I guess.
A Mars moon?
Yeah,
Does Mars have moons?
I think so.
Probably has like 3 or something.
Maybe.
No, we should
Yeah.
Google it, but another time.
But when he can see that big planet,
Mhm.
but it's not Earth. It's not blue
No.
and green like we know the Earth looks
It
like.
doesn't look like I think the Earth looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my head.
Yeah. I mean, if you believe like NASA and stuff,
Yeah, sure.
right?
The pictures they have.
Right. All the
Yeah.
pictures that they photoshopped.
I think
the
those
Earth
are
is
real.
because the Earth is really flat.
Kyrie doesn't think they're real, but I think they're real. What does he spell out with the corpses? Okay, so
Help
first
me.
of all, how help
No,
me?
save me.
Save me.
Save me.
Who is he hoping sees this?
That big satellite that flies over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's hoping somebody's going to see this, says save me, go, holy shit, who's up there, and save his ass.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It seems really unlikely.
Does seem
But he doesn't have anything else to do, so what the hell?
Yeah.
It was hilarious when you first get the shot of the planet and you see there's like 400 corpses up there because he's just been flinging
That was that
Crookshanks
I
is-
laughed out loud.
and Watsons, or what's the other
Yeah.
guy's name? Crookshanks and who? I forget. It doesn't matter. They're
Mr.
everywhere.
Phillips.
Mr. Phillips and Crookshanks, yeah. They're scattered all over the place, and then of course he uses them to spell something. Which it reminded me of Castaway, except
Yeah.
he's using bodies on a moon,
Yeah.
an extreme version.
That was pretty funny.
It was
just like
cool
him
that-
picking up the frozen weightless bodies and
And
breaking
just-
limbs off. And
Yes,
yeah.
dude, unbelievable. He has the most inhumane moments on the show.
Yeah.
Like he's the least human character. He could
Right.
give less of a shit about humanity.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes it hard to imagine that he did the squid thing from a good place, right?
Right. And right. He is of questionable motive, right?
Very, I
Yeah.
would say. And so much so that Dr. Manhattan took the time to, or we assume Dr. Manhattan took the time to get him in his locked up current situation.
Did you notice that the game warden was maybe also a Mr. Phillips?
It has to be.
It was, right?
It has to be, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else but Mr. Phillips's and Crookshanks's that are allowed to be on this planet outside of him.
Yeah.
So all he can do is create more of those and then kill them. Dude, how about him I don't even remember if this was this week or last, him walking them into the room, the banquet room, with all the dead Crookshankses, and it was just like, what did he say? He was like, I had a rough night.
Yeah.
Was that
was last episode?
Dude, that was a gnarly little scene too. Anyway, it was fun checking in with him, with old Oz on his planet, and he's still trying to get out of there. Do you think, I guess, is your prediction that we see him escape by the end of this season? That he gets out of his prison?
That's a good question.
You have to think, yeah, right? Like, otherwise, why are we getting these bits and pieces?
I don't know, because I don't know. I don't really have a good answer, because I could see them using this like B storyline as almost like a metaphor for something else.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Because it would be kind of weird if suddenly they became tied in together, and it was like now Ozymandias is in the world that we're dealing with.
And if he does get back from, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of miles away, what's he gonna do? What purpose would he serve back on Earth?
Right.
I guess.
What's next for him? I guess of is like, it doesn't seem like he's got anything up there ambition wise right now outside of escaping. But we also don't know. We don't spend that much time with him each week. In this episode, the entire thing is through the lens of Looking Glass, and we get this quick check-in.
Mirror Man?
Yeah, Mirror Man. He's like, it's Looking Glass. But
I know it's Looking Glass.
I love this dude. He's like the perfect amount of like Southern trashy for my taste. But yeah, so it was just cool to get the good look in on Ozzy.
Yeah.
But the rest of the episode, we stick with our mans. And what happened? I mean, he digs. He's looking for more. He's trying to. Everybody in this show at this point is completely freaking lost as to what is happening.
Yeah. So okay. So we kind of already addressed the one big reveal, which is they play the video where Ozymandias, Adrian Veidt, tells us that he's the one that created the squid. It's a hoax.
And by they, we mean the 7th Cavalry for Looking Glass.
Yeah. The other big reveal right there in essentially that same scene is that the senator is down there leading the 7th Cavalry.
He is the leader.
And it sounded like he has been leading the 7th Cavalry
for quite some time.
As
has Judd.
Because I believe that what he tells us there is that he had control of the 7th Cavalry, Judd had control of the police force, and they together were like keeping their troops in line
to maintain
to maintain the peace.
Right.
Now,
he made it sound like they knew almost, or this is how I took it, that they knew the cavalry was a problem and they needed to control it. So he got himself in there, basically, and so did Judd.
Right.
But Judd maintained his presence as a police captain, and this guy's sort of been running the show underground with these.
Yeah, see, I wasn't able to make any type of connection between Judd and the cavalry yet, except through the senator.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think the senator straight up said, though, like, Judd and I, like he was speaking to their efforts together to keep that all in line.
Right, but I took that as like Judd had the cops and the senator had the cavalry.
Yeah, but he's got the thing in his closet.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to be surprised if that's some sort of red herring.
Or if it's just he had it because he needed it if he needed to go be able to be a part of it and do the meeting or something.
Maybe.
But like, yeah, we'll find out more there, surely.
That's actually, I hadn't thought about that. That's a great, maybe it was like it's like a deep cover.
I mean,
type
it's
of
like
disguise type thing.
You look at it the same way you look at Batman going to put on his uniform, man. He goes and puts it on so he can go do a job. Judd was doing it so he could go be part of the 7th Cavalry or whatever. It's like, that just started to get some shape there. We're starting to see, okay, here's how this stuff started to unfold. We still don't know why he ended up in a tree, do we?
We do not.
Okay.
We don't know what
the involvement between
precipitated to like cause somebody to kill Judd here.
Right. And I'm still not clear on Angela Abar's grandfather's involvement in all this.
Yeah. That is all still fuzzy.
And how all these people are sort of tied together. There's just there's several different elements we have at this point. We've got like Angela and her whole deal with Looking Glass and their one point. We've got Ozzy on the moon. We've got what else?
I think it's safe to say that the senator not a good guy.
I
don't think
know.
is he?
I don't know. That's sort of like
We don't know, I guess.
I thought
He's a
all
bad
of
guy.
the 7th Cavalry were going to be the bad guys, and then now this is a very confusing thing where they have this piece of truth that may be the whole reason for their existence that they're sharing with one of our good guys, Looking Glass.
Right.
And it's
right.
like, what happens from here?
Yeah, that's another question. We talked up front in the early episodes about how the 7th Cavalry had seemingly taken Rorschach's, diaries basically,
Yeah.
bastardized them and turned them into like, their Bible for white nationalist power, basically, or whatever.
Yes.
But it was also Rorschach in the graphic novel that learned about the hoax.
Okay.
So that could tie in too. That the 7th Cavalry are the the truth tellers or whatever
Right.
you want to call them, the
Interest-
truthers,
It'll be
the
interesting
squid
to see.
truthers.
Yeah, if there's like any racial ties or if there's any racial reason.
Yeah. Now it still seems like there's
It does
going to be
seem
racial
like it.
reasons because we still don't have any reason to believe that the 7th Cavalry wasn't behind the White Knight. The senator says as much. That's
Right.
like what caused him to go and what caused he and Judd to go wrangle the situation
Was the White Knight.
was the White Knight.
Okay.
And then also, what kind of sets our whole story off here is that the dude with the lettuce truck pulling on his cavalry mask and assaulting and shooting a black officer.
Right.
So yeah,
It's still very up in the air.
it's pretty murky still. Yeah.
A lot going on.
But yes, what we see those members of the 7th Cavalry doing in that abandoned shopping center is playing around with the transporter thing, the teleporter.
Right.
But they're not like holding a crazy rally or anything.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what these fuckers are doing.
I don't either. Yeah.
What else?
Angela takes the member berries, which is what we're going into next week. Whole episode next week about member berries.
Okay, so she gets the pills tested.
Yeah.
Turns out there's something called nostalgia,
Yeah.
which is illegal at this point,
Yes.
apparently. And they're her grandfather's memories
Yes.
in pill form. And when they're about to be taken from her at the end of the episode because she's being arrested for what? Recall? No, don't
Obstruction of justice, maybe?
She chugs the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately in the next week on Watchmen thing, we see somebody being like, you shouldn't have chugged that bottle. We're like, yeah, no shit. But she seems to be having a very hard time. She's going to be bouncing like in and out of her grandfather's memories from his life.
Mm-hmm.
As her, though.
But also as him.
But also as him.
Yeah.
It's going to be really crazy to see. That one's going to be trippy.
It will be.
Looking forward to it. But Watchmen, it continues to build every week for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like 4 was a big step up. 5 was another step up from 4. I'm super stoked on how this has gone. You said we have 9 of these?
9, yeah.
Okay.
And this felt like a perfect middle episode too,
Yeah.
right? Like
was really
right
well
in the,
done.
It's right in the center, and it kind of
Gave us
it
enough.
kind of gave us the information to work with moving forward now.
Which has always been the problem with this motherfucker Lindelof.
Here's a question,
He doesn't give you anything, and we got something.
here's a question that I don't know they're going to answer next episode, but is Wade going to survive? Because Senator told him, the big news, basically.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's wiping that chess piece off the board, or at least it looks like he's attempting to.
I need
Because
Wade.
he got what he wanted from Wade.
I need Wade around.
He said, "Here's the truth, Wade. Now give me Angela Abar because we think that she had something to do with Judd's murder." He does it, and then the end of the episode is 7th K about to bust down his door with a bunch of shotguns.
Yeah, I forgot
It's not
about that
looking good
little
for
scene
Wade.
at the end. But surely he survives that debacle. Don't you get like a James Bond villain feeling from these 7th Cavalry at some points? Like, these dudes are rolling in, but like none of them are going to live. Wade is too badass for me right now.
Okay,
He can't die. He can't die. They can't take Wade away.
I could really see it going both ways.
I hadn't thought about this possibility. It was like such at the end of the episode, that little part where you see them jumping out of the car and
Yeah,
running towards
yeah.
his house, and I was like, nah, that didn't happen. Fuck that.
It was very like gangster movie.
Yeah, dude, doors slide open, motherfuckers cocking guns. and
Yeah,
shit.
just like
Clack, clack.
and very very abrupt. Everything was like happening really quickly.
They seem to be about their business, Barrett.
They were, yes.
They don't seem like they're there to like give him a fucking birthday party.
No.
hopefully Wade makes it out.
We'll
find out next week.
Wade. Wade also. He likes Watchmen porn. Porn about Watchmen.
Weird element.
Minutemen.
Weird element of Wade.
Yeah.
Watchmen, Minutemen themed pornography.
Yes. Yeah.
When he's in that world, so it's strange.
Yeah. It was
But
something.
whatever, he's bored. He's got to watch something to spank.
Easter egg. He's eating. His mask, very reminiscent of the Rorschach mask. Pulls over
Yeah,
like
sure.
a sock. He for dinner he opens a can of beans and eats beans. That's like
All Rorschach
Mike.
eats.
Isn't that all Rorschach eats basically in the graphic novel?
Yeah,
Canned
beans
foods.
and sugar cubes. But the iconic image of one of the iconic images of Rorschach is pulling up the bottom of his mask and eating beans.
Yeah. So
Eating
that
himself
was
like a gross insect.
that was definitely a nod there.
Yeah, I feel like they did the beans thing in the movie too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, there's so our FBI agent, Silk Spectre, Blake.
Yes.
She seems to suspect Angela Abar of having something to do with Judd's murder, and that's what the senator relays as well.
Right.
So I don't know that's a weird little wrinkle too.
When you think about it, though, it makes sense because she shows up to the spot of the crime and then tries to cover it up.
True.
So, like,
Yeah,
it really,
yeah, that's fair.
There's nothing else for them to suspect other than that she may
That's
have
their
had
lead.
something to do with it.
That's exactly right.
Which
It
obviously
makes sense that that's their lead. You're
But
right.
to us, we're like, yeah, what the fuck? Angela didn't do anything. So like but we'll see them obviously get to that point together, hopefully, and see that we know she didn't do anything.
I think that's about all I got. I just love like the little details with all the EDS stuff
Yeah.
everywhere. What was it?
They did not mess around.
Extraterrestrial defense
Yeah.
system stuff.
When they made this show, they got all the good little specifics and shit.
Yeah.
He really made sure he wasn't gonna bum out hardcore Watchmen fans. And so far, it's been great for real.
We killed some clone puppies because they weren't exact perfect matches.
That was a bummer.
Yeah.
But it happens. Moving
Yeah,
on.
man. It was great stuff. Good stuff. Can't
Next
wait.
week, more Watchmen, episode 6. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Hawthorne. Cologne is a complicated thing. It's tough to pick a scent, a fragrance. It's impossible to know when you're getting ripped off, which is almost always. Too many dudes I know picked a cologne in like 2008, have been rocking with the same shit ever since, and it's a disaster. Also, that shit can actually spoil. I don't know if you know that, but and girls think you smell like either their dad's or a high school gym locker room, neither of which is good. Smelling good is important, and that's where our new sponsor, Hawthorne, comes in. Hawthorne. Our new sponsor, Hawthorne, smells really, really, really good, and getting their cologne is so damn easy. You go to hawthorne.co. You take a quick quiz. Barrett and I have both done it already. It gives you exactly what you're going to need. It takes about 2 minutes, and you'll see that they'll hit you with 2 colognes, one for work, one for play. They're going to hit you with shampoo, conditioner, body wash, deodorant, totally risk-free shipping and free returns. I have all of them. Also, by the way, incredible personalized products. But I've been using every single one of these things, like literally right before I came up to the studio and I showered. The deodorant, the shampoo, the conditioner, the body wash, it is all phenomenal. It smells great.
It's a great setup.
It is.
The questions that the quiz asks you, basically about like what type of product you like,
What type
what's
of hair
what's
you
most
have.
important to you in these
Yes.
products, what type
Yes.
of hair you have, like etc.
If you have like horrendous BO,
And then
you'll be
it
able to
just
indicate
then
that.
it just says, "Here's the best shit that we got for you, right
Take it.
here. Put it all in your bag and go home with it." And
Boom.
it's very cool. The packaging is gorgeous.
yes,
I
it
might
is.
say.
I have my shampoo and my conditioner and my body wash up on, there's like a little cutout in my
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
shower. And it just looks tight,
Yeah,
like
it's
it
an-
should look.
It's an upgrade.
It is a massive upgrade from the grocery store nonsense I was
Yeah.
using. Yeah. No. Check out Hawthorne at hawthorne.co. That's Hawthorne with an E. Use the promo code DRAGON to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co. Code DRAGON to get 10% off your purchase. Hawthorne.com. Code DRAGON. I am all Hawthorne. Everything now. Their deodorant is the only deodorant I use. Their shampoo, the only shampoo I use. Their conditioner, the only conditioner I use. Their body wash. It's all great. I'm using it twice a day. I smell like a fucking angel
You
carrying a baseball
mentioned
bat.
that they give you a cologne for work and a cologne for play, which is great because I like to work hard
and then
play hard.
and then play hard. Here's a question for you. Which cologne do you think I sprayed on myself before I came in here today? Work or play?
Well, it's after 6 p.m., so it's got to be Play.
Ah, you're correct, sir. You're correct. You are very correct. All right, moving on. The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I'll say it correctly the entire rest of the episode, I promise. I will not make jokes about the name of the show. So, going into The Mandalorian, this is the first big Disney Plus show, right? It's the biggest thing they've presented.
Yeah, it's the big new thing that launched with Disney Plus.
Yes. If you got Disney Plus and you're an adult, you watched The Mandalorian probably pretty quickly or gave it a shot. There are 2 episodes out.
Yeah, third one might have come out today, actually.
Okay, so that was one of the first questions I have. Why is it that why would you launch a new television program and not provide viewers with when they can expect the next edition of that television program?
Oh, they probably did. I just not.
Nah, man, I've been clicking around all in that motherfucker. There is nothing that says when the next episode is coming. It's not like new episodes Wednesday or like it doesn't say shit.
Oh,
so
that's
you have
weird.
no clue. It just has the 2 episodes for it.
That you know why that's surprising? Because I gotta give this to Disney Plus. The app is beautiful.
The whole fucking thing is badass.
Yeah, like I wasn't. Not all these streaming services have great everything.
Dude, Amazon Prime is an awful platform still. It's terrible.
It's been not
Dude,
good.
It'll recommend a movie for me, top left corner. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. And I'll click on it, and it's like, haha, bitch, that one's not available on Amazon Prime. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, click here to find out how to view this movie. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm in the app.
Yeah.
It's infuriating.
Even the Apple TV Plus one, even though it like looks good, it doesn't work good.
Disney Plus has worked phenomenal.
And I'm just throwing money at these streaming services. I'm basically just like put an IV into my vein, just like take all of my cash, all of you dumbass streaming services. Let's just get this over with.
I'm with you.
And
this is the new cable.
And so
we're there.
I opened up that Disney Plus app, and like I'm not a big Marvel dude. I like the Marvel movies; they're okay, but I'm not a diehard, and I wasn't really all that interested in like going through the back catalog of Disney movies. And like,
and have been.
I've already talked about on this podcast how I wasn't like all amped up for Disney Plus.
I wasn't either.
But then I got the app, and it's so nice and so pretty, and there is just so much already on it. Like we talked about this as well about how the big thing going for Disney Plus is that as soon as you get that app, the backlog of content that they own is just overwhelming. And I mean, when you open it, this is going to be successful, is what I'm saying.
Yes, it is. It is very clear that Disney Plus, out of the newest attempts at joining the streaming services, it is far and away the best iteration that we have seen. When you open up the app and it's got the Disney Plus, Pixar Plus, Marvel Plus, Star Wars Plus, National Geographic, you're like, oh shit. And then you start to go down, and I mean, the setup is like you said. It's a beautifully built app that displays exactly the way you want it to.
Yeah.
It's basically the opposite of Amazon Prime, which is, dude, that's a big piece of, if I'm going to pay for your service, dude, I want you to spend the money to make it work properly for me, and their shit is incredible. So, first off, I'll just say, I think I've watched 3 out of the vault so far. I watched Robin Hood. I watched The Sword and the Stone. There was another one I can't remember off the top. But the vault is sick. I'm stoked on the vault already. It's like my go-to-sleep movie, right?
Yeah.
But then I've obviously watched the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian as well. And I went into The Mandalorian with the same outlook as I had for Disney Plus. I was just sort of like, whatever, man. Another thing I got to watch. Like, there wasn't any particular reason for me to be hyped on it. I like Star Wars, and I like the universe, and I enjoyed the first 3. The second 3, the prequel 3 were absolutely shit. And then they've made some good stuff and some bad stuff since. But I mean, it also made me think, just a very quick aside, how people ripped apart Benioff and Weiss, including us, for their trash execution of the final season. George Lucas has been getting that for like 40 years, and every day. So like, imagine that level of disappointment for like when he cranked out Jar Jar Binks and shit.
Right.
At least we didn't get a Jar Jar Binks.
No Jar Jar
up
Binks.
in our Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone that way, man. Like they could have introduced some wacky ass character for the final season and tried to think that would work, but it just made me laugh about like we destroy these. It's a different age. Twitter, social media. It's a different deal, man. If George Lucas had pumped out those 3 prequel movies in 2019. He'd be the laughing stock of the entire world. Like, we would absolutely dump on this dude. The whole world would. Anyway, So I went into it with basically no expectations and found myself not only like I love Pedro Pascal, our boy who's playing the Mandalorian.
Oh, is he in this?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you didn't know that was who that was?
No,
Oh,
no,
it's
wait.
The helmet?
The
right. Guy, yeah, he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah, because you can't see his face.
Oh yeah, it's the one downside of landing this gig.
I am. Well, continue your thought. We'll talk about it.
I love him. I
Yeah.
enjoy him as an actor. Everything he's been in so far his performance has drawn me in, and the same here. This is I saw it described somewhere as like if Star Wars had balls, The Mandalorian, and I was like, well, I'm gonna hope that means violently, like violence wise. That has to be referring to the violence, and it is definitely in part of it. They have it's not dark violence. It's not full blood and guts and gore or anything like that, but it's a step up from the pee bullshit of Star Wars to he's murdering people. He's fucking people up. Like he's doing work. And that's like, it was always the part of Star Wars that fell flat for me, the fighting. The lightsaber battles, yes, intense. The shooting scenes, never give a shit. Don't have any fear of this weird laser gun thing. Y'all are all shooting at each other.
Yeah.
So this dude in his form of violence, it reminds me of like almost like oh God, what's the name of the Matt Damon movie where he beats the shit out of everybody and there's a lot of them? Bourne Identity. Oh. It reminds me of how when they did the Bourne movies, they decided to go with that more like gruff version of the violence that then translated into the Bond movies. This is like a gruffer version than we're used to in Star Wars.
Yeah, they went this direction already with Rogue One and a little bit in The Last Jedi.
That's true
as well.
I guess I had that detached in my mind.
So I was actually, my expectations were pretty off on this show, I would say, because I actually expected this to be a little bit grittier than it is through 2 episodes.
Okay.
Now, I also thought that it was like a full hour-long drama, so I am very pleasantly surprised that this is basically just like a 30-minute, romp, more so.
Sure.
It's not as
very easy watch.
It's an easy watch, and that's very good for the show that they've made, because this would not be a fun hour-long show. It's not good enough to be an hour long.
I agree. I think this is an example of like, don't try to make it something it's not.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that look, I am enjoying The Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to more episodes, but it's just been okay. And if they don't get that helm off of Pedro Pascal, like this coming episode, I don't know what the hell they're doing.
They will. They have to take it off through 3.
There's only 8 episodes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
And now so I just learned this today. And now they're only 30 minutes. And I can't believe they've already wasted 2 full episodes, and we haven't even seen Pedro Pascal's face yet.
Yeah, they have started work on season 2 already, so there will be more.
For the record, there is not another episode available yet. It is still just 2.
Interesting.
I think it's out on Fridays.
Fridays now?
I think so.
Fuck, why does it not just say? It just says 2019, 1 season, science fiction, family, action, adventure.
Yeah, they really should. They should have that in there.
How about a release date on here for players?
Thank God that episode 2 gave us little baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Because it gave us something. It gave us like some personality, like some levity, something to care about.
Well, but so
because I like Pedro Pascal. I think he's doing a good enough job with what they've given him to do so far, with limited dialogue and no face.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't care about him yet.
Okay, so I'll give you my thoughts on why they went the angle they have so far, and it's because like Boba Fett and the assassins that we saw in Star Wars never took off their goddamn helmets, and it was like part of Boba Fett's personality trait was that he had no personality.
Right.
Like he didn't speak ever.
Yeah.
So they sort of played with that with the Mandalorian character.
Right.
And like, okay, basically they sat there and they were like, what do we do? This fucker has to wear a helmet. How do we make this work?
Yeah.
And they sort of found this way to do the soft-spoken, badass character thing. And I think they'll open it up from there. Like, you see the little bits and pieces. He gets real friendly with the droid and shit in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some playful back and forth. They're opening him up a bit, but they wanted to start him in that, like, real small box, like Boba Fett style.
Right. Right.
And then I guarantee you, in episode 3, they got to take that fucking helmet off, dude. They have to in episode 3.
I mean, here's my other big question: if they don't, then why get Pedro Pascal for this?
I don't know.
Why not just get some jag off the street? You don't need a. I'm not that Pedro Pascal is like an A-lister, but we know him.
Yeah.
We like him.
Yeah.
You put Pedro Pascal in something, and you know that people are gonna know. Oh, that's Oberyn Tyrell.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's got
the
some
Narcos guy.
He's got some or Narcos. He's got some cachet. This is not just
A nobody.
a nobody.
Yeah.
So if
But maybe he's the right level of
if he's gonna be a faceless man, then what's the point?
his voice. I like his voice.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know.
Favreau tweeted out the original concept art for Baby Yoda, or not Baby Yoda. Apparently, it's not Baby Yoda.
Well, it's not. No, it's not Yoda.
It's not Yoda. It's just
but
a Baby
it is
Yoda.
a Yoda.
Okay.
It's his species, I would imagine.
There was someone, and there was a
And it is a
large
baby.
argument that broke out in my Twitter mentions
Okay.
at some point because I keep making jokes about the show's name that are only funny to me, and the Star Wars people get upset, and they were arguing in there about whether or not it was Yoda, Baby Yoda, and then somebody said it was a yodel, one of Yoda's race.
Oh, is
and
that
I
what-
was like,
okay.
there's no fucking way it's actually called that. And then
No,
another,
Yoda's race has never been named.
thank you, because then
Yeah.
another person started yelling at that person, and I was like, it's not a yodel, but it should be, because that's a great name.
Okay. Yeah.
The yodels.
But that's
Doesn't
definitely.
that sound like some shit George Lucas would have fucking written
yeah,
down?
probably.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I know. Yodels. He was a horrible writer.
All right. But before I say anything good about or anything further about the show, I also have one more nit to pick.
Pick it.
Dude, that beastie was not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
You came into his home while
The
he was
egg.
taking a nap. You started a fight with it to steal its precious egg,
Yeah.
and then you fucking stabbed it in the throat to kill it. Like, that was... I was really, really shocked with that storyline.
You didn't like the murder of the beastie?
Because it was
And the
it
stealing
was
of the
just
egg?
really like it was very shallow. These Jawas want some egg, and the only way to go get
Okay, I'll give you that.
it was also and I know we're trying to make Mandalorian here kind of like this, like you said, he's like this soft-spoken ultimate fighter
Sure.
badass.
Sure.
But I think it would have even imbued him with more personality if like he procures that egg through like some cunning, right?
Sure.
Instead of just straight up brawn.
violence.
And so, but I'm like watching that, and like, are you trying to make me dislike this Rhino thing? Because I don't have any, just like I don't have any reason to care about Mandalorian yet. I don't have, except for your 4-second flashback that is vague and doesn't mean anything yet. I also got no reason to hate this Rhino thing. It's not Jabba the Hutt.
No, I mean, that's Star Wars has always been weird with its animals.
So
and
it
shit,
was
though.
just really kind of like jarring to just be like, oh, and here's this like throwaway side
Well, but
plot
then-
where he's got to get his shit back, and so he has to murder this animal.
Well,
to
but
do
then
so.
the Jawas get the egg, crack it open, and like play with the yolk, and that's that's it. And you're like,
I love that. I thought that was so funny.
It was funny.
because the Jawas are supposed to be just weird assholes.
Yes.
and they're okay. Well, do the egg, and all they want to do is dip
Get the
into some
goo out.
Cadbury shit. You know?
yeah, that's the whole point with the Jawas is that they literally don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
just want to
yeah.
play with trinkets and get shit.
No,
and
I
do
Right.
shit.
the end result that they
It's
like
funny.
wanted to like. I guess this thing was some type of delicacy that they all wanted to stick their hand in
Yeah.
and maybe eat or
They like sweets. Maybe
slap it
I
on
don't
each
know.
other. Like I don't like that was all fine, and like Mike said, it was funny to watch them go berserkers over that
But the
egg.
20-minute build up to it.
But the build up where this guy has to just like enter this beastie's lair, who didn't do shit and who we have no clue what it is or why it deserves death,
Yo, they wanted that egg.
was just an interesting choice. That's,
Yeah, all that story was just a function of we got to show that Baby Yoda maybe has the Force,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
and we need to fill some time here, so we'll just do some generic
Jawa
quest.
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A generic Jawa mission. That's
Right.
what that was.
Yeah.
And yeah, no. I don't think it's a maybe. Baby Yoda has the Force, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's moving shit
Right,
with his
and then
little
he takes a
brain.
nice nap.
And then his energy is expelled like fucking Elle from Stranger Things.
Don't you want that crib though? Don't you want just a floating crib? Don't you want that? I want
Okay,
that.
that's
It's
okay,
remote
question.
controlled.
yeah.
who's controlling that
He
crib
is
though?
Pedro.
Pedro is, right?
Yes, he's got a remote.
Yeah,
because
I guess he
does
slapped
some,
something
he does
on
some
it.
stuff on his like arm thing that makes it move.
You don't
and,
like if you're paying close attention. There's a point where they finally really tip your hand to like
Right, yeah.
he's controlling this thing because
Yes.
he goes like and like moves
And it's
moves.
somehow
Right.
tethered to him
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, because he's hauling ass after the Jawa
That's right.
building, and you're like, whoa. What about the baby Yoda you just left in the sand back there, bro? And then it's floating behind him, and you're like, oh, it's all good. Tight.
Okay, now positive things. The
Okay.
show has a lot of runway. It's doing it's doing a good job of like bringing in some of the things we know from the Star Wars universe without being overtly about like anything Skywalker saga related.
Yes, they're giving us lots and lots, and I don't know if you've seen this take, but Star Wars fans will tell you it's so much better when you know all the Easter eggs and the little trinkets and
sure,
shit. So
sure.
if you want to Google those, if you're not a person who knows them,
Yeah.
they're out there on the interwebs. But like Star Wars people are super stoked on how hard they went at those.
It was a very, very, very good choice by Disney Plus already, like I said, to make this a 30-minute show, not try to jam pack this and make this some prestige hour-long drama. Baby Yoda, what else can you say? He's awesome.
Now everyone in America wants him as a pet.
I don't care that it's just like emotionally and nostalgically manipulative. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So good job on Baby Yoda. And yeah, I think this show. I think I can't remember the username here, so I apologize. But one of our listeners had this theory that like what they've kind of told us, I think they've already said this maybe, is that the Mandalorian tribe, it's like part of their thing to never take
off
the
the
helmet off.
Yeah, they gave us that.
But he's like part of the guild or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically because he is not going to serve up this bounty, he's going to have to like break with the guild,
Okay.
which means that he'll be able to take the helmet off.
Interesting.
That seems like they should go there.
A possible line.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think you're going to get to this happy place you want where he's not wearing that fucking helmet. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe for a very short minute or whatever, for like limited periods of time when he's indoors eating Cheerios or some shit. But like most of the show, I think he's going to have that helmet on. Because the second he takes the helmet off, I'm like, well, your head's exposed. Isn't he going to be doing like battle all the time and shit? You gotta have the fucking helmet.
other people do battle without the helmet.
Who?
Those guys that were in the bar that he smacks
Luke.
down.
Yeah, that's true. I love that bar scene. I love all all of the cheap thrills they're using
Yeah,
to hook me
No,
are working
they're great.
flawlessly.
They're great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys have takes on Nick Nolte?
I cannot. I had no idea that was Nick Nolte
Yeah.
until yesterday.
Nick Nolte's I Have Spoken.
Until after I watched episode 2, and I'm like watching the actor names pop up.
Right.
And Nick Nolte was like, "Oh my god."
Same.
It always weirds me because I don't know if you ever watched like a Nolte interview. He did Pardon My Take recently, and and it was absolutely ridiculous. He's almost like he comes off as so unstable that I don't get how they get him to work on a set.
Yeah.
And then he crushes the role.
That's another positive thing. That character was pretty
well
done.
done. Again, there's elements of the Star Wars thing that are impossible to not have some cheese on them. You just want it to be good cheese, right? And so like there's going to be some cheesiness. This guy, that character, and Nick Nolte's execution of it didn't at any point take me out of what was happening. The only point where I was like, I don't know about this fucking storyline was the Jawa mission. I was like, this is them plugging some minutes. This is them filling some time. And I mean, you could feel that a little bit. It was just a little bit less quality than the rest of the show has been so far. But through 2 episodes, it's playing out like a space western sort of. Like he's our guy.
Yeah, that's
right?
I've heard that. I heard that term.
Yeah, because it's like a Clint Eastwood style. He's out there. It's the fucking desert and shit. It's got the western feel to it. I'm interested to see if he's gonna like have people that work with him, or that he wrote like a squad that he's sort of, you know what I mean? Because if it's just him solo with Baby Yoda who doesn't talk.
Yeah, somebody from The Ringer either wrote or tweeted about like how this dude needs a sidekick.
Right.
And
you need a person.
That would also be helpful. I got to see somebody's face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but there was a couple characters sort of like kept entering into the show, and I was like, ooh, that one's got a chance. Maybe that's his sidekick. Like, that one's got some personality. Maybe they're gonna plug him in. You know what I mean? And then it just didn't happen by the end of the second episode. But maybe in 3 when he takes his helmet off.
I know Gina Carano is in a lot of the posters alongside with him. So maybe by the time she shows up, Maybe they want a female sidekick for him, which would be good.
Oh, I also like just from the Western angle and then also from how pretty all the stuff in the app and the credits and all that. The little artsy like painting style kind of moving credits.
Yeah.
Those are
nice.
end.
Really
badass.
nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Really enjoyed those as well. No, pleasantly pleased.
Yeah,
with-
no, and I
the
know
first
that I
two.
spent 15 minutes here of what sounds like complaining about plot points and
I think they're fair-
directorial choices,
fair
but
critiques.
But I am still like I look forward to putting on the next episode all the same. So that's really all that matters.
Look, I have found myself I watched it on, I don't know, Sunday probably. It's Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
7 p.m. I have found myself checking a few times already to see if the
if it's
app,
in- yeah,
again, counting
sure.
one was when we were live on the show, and it's still not there. And I could use the Google machine, Barrett, and ask it, when does the next episode of The Mandalorian come out? Maybe that's the next step I'll take.
Okay.
And maybe the next step he'll take will be to take off that helmet so you can see his beautiful face.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Make you happy, wouldn't it? Mike, any other final thoughts on the first couple episodes of The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I'm really liking the texture of it. Like, it's not a cartoon. It's not the prequel. It's not all CGI. It feels like we're in the world, like Barrett said, of Rogue One,
Yeah.
where everything, you can touch everything. It feels
Right.
real. You
It
know,
has
even
weight to it.
Baby Yoda mostly is a Muppet, or a puppet, which
Right.
is cool. Nick Nolte's character was a mask, and it wasn't CGI over a character. It
Right.
wasn't really motion capture. It feels real. I appreciate those elements of it.
That's an interesting move back in Hollywood
Yeah.
that has sort of taken place. Is we went so far with the CGI, and now they've started to realize, like, well, there's some of these old school methods we use that make things look really, really cool on screen and much better than CGI holds up. So we've had some rolling it back in that arena, which has been interesting. And I thought they did a great job with
Well,
that too.
they know they're just shoving those nostalgia pills right into our throats.
Oh, yeah.
down our
Berries
throats.
and nostalgia pills right down the gullet. Yep. This episode of OCC is also brought to you by Trumans. When I'm walking down the aisle, the cleaning aisle specifically at a grocery store, it can feel a lot like a complicated chemistry lab. You're surrounded by so many different cleaners for different surfaces and a spectrum of different colors with different scents, and it's a pain in the ass, and I'm sick of it, and that's why I'm excited to introduce you to Trumans, our new sponsor, the coolest cleaning company on the internet. Trumans is decluttering the cleaning aisle with 4 non-toxic cleaners for your entire home, shipped free to your door. This stuff is awesome. The way it works is super cool. I got my first shipment in a few weeks back. Their starter kit, right, so that I could try all 4 cleaners, and this is way, way better than what you're going to get at the grocery store, and seriously changing the world. I went to town with Trumans this morning, and my house is currently a shining beacon of human achievement as a result. To get started, order your Trumans starter kit and try all 4 non-toxic spray cleaners for 45 days, risk-free plus free shipping. Trumans starter kit comes with 4 reusable bottles, 4 amazing refill cartridges, and special deals on their refill plan. If you're confused about the way it works, it's so simple and so cool. And again, you're saving all this plastic and money, and with these Trumans non-toxic sprays that feature an all-purpose kitchen cleaner, a glass and technology cleaner, an all-purpose bathroom cleaner, and a floor cleaner that works on all hard flooring surfaces, so you're completely covered. By just adding water to Trumans refill cartridges, you'll reuse the same bottles, saving space, plastic, and money. That's why Fast Company honored them as a world-changing idea. Tackle all of your home's tough cleaning needs today the smarter way with Trumans. To receive 50% off your Trumans starter kit, visit Trumans.com. Enter promo code DRAGON at checkout. That's TRUMANS.com. Promo code DRAGON for 50% off your starter kit. Trumans, Dragon, a better cleaning experience. Now we're going to talk about some Peaky Blinders, specifically why you should watch Peaky Blinders. I, Ross, am going to pitch you on Peaky Blinders as a series. Barrett has not watched it. Barrett, not a Peaky guy. I am all the way...
That's right. I'm not a Peaky Blinder,
You're not. Or you're not yet.
but I could be.
One day, maybe.
I don't know what this accent is.
It's like... that was like an aborted version of the accent that they use on the show.
Yeah, it was like it went into some Australian territory.
It did,
as
a little
well, I think.
Aussie in there.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Just a Greg sprinkle of Aussie in there.
It was not good.
That's okay. But Peaky Blinders as a show, I have watched every season thus far. It is a BBC Two production that is, what's the word that I'm looking for? Netflix pays to show it on their channel, on their app, rather. And I've watched all the seasons thus far. And it's
Collabo.
it's a British crime drama that is set in Birmingham, England. And
Is it about gangs?
Yes.
Gangs of London
Sort of. Yes.
in 1889.
1890s
Yeah,
to the
late,
early
late
20th
late
century.
19th, early 20th century.
Yeah, so Cillian Murphy plays Tommy Shelby, the gang's leader.
Okay.
And the gang, if you will, is the Shelby family. It's his family. It's the same setup as a mafia, sort of, but it's trash British people in Birmingham, not Italians in New York City or whatever. It's a completely different space, obviously, a completely different feel and setup, and it's the first thing I've ever watched that revolves around organized crime historically in Europe. And it's a really, really cool, there's all these historical elements to the show. It ties in a lot of shit. It's like, it starts in the aftermath of World War I, which Thomas Shelby, the leader of the gang again, had served in, and it plays with all, like, it plays with everything. It goes everywhere. It's a very sprawling show with a lot of different characters and a lot of depth to it that really starts in a place of season 1, you're watching this family with next to nothing, scrapping for a living, doing crime on the streets of Birmingham, and everything from there is their come up. Now, what's interesting is they have definitely hit the point with this show around season 4, I'd say, last season, where they've entered danger territory of going for too long.
Okay.
Where the seasons have started to feel a little bit repetitive in that the Shelby family is on the rise, and like they encounter a problem and they have to overcome that problem and continue the rise. Well, that's gone on for a few seasons now, and in season 5, which I just started, that is over. I finished the first episode before I came up here, and what we're playing with now, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but what we're playing with now 5 seasons in is Black Friday and the crash of the American stock market and the effect that that has on this Shelby family gang in Birmingham who has invested heavily in that stock market and the sort of global fallout as a result in the way. So it goes in these like historical directions and plays with shit that's really, really fun. All of the acting and casting is great. There can be parts that feel a little cheesy. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's a slightly different pace or feel than any other organized crime show I've watched before.
Okay.
To where it's like almost admitting that it's not real, sort of. Does that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like it knows it's having fun, and so it will do things that maybe it wouldn't do if it was taking itself too seriously.
Are there any shows you could compare it to?
Not really. It's sort of, it's very, I mean, maybe not Hell on Wheels. What was the one about Sons of Anarchy? If a little bit of that feel, because Sons of Anarchy, same type of deal.
Yes, yeah.
Organized crime, but a little bit cheesy, just like a little bit cheesy.
I think the other FX show did that, played with that too, Justified.
Okay, yeah. It's that same type of deal. I never watched Justified, but I've heard it's great, and I've seen enough of the previews to know same type of tone.
Does it, between, this is season 5 that just came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between seasons 1 and 4, does it kind of like peak with 2 and 3? Or is season 1 the best season?
No, it definitely grows from there. I'm confusing seasons 2 and 3 in my head a little bit right now, but at no point during 2 and 3 was I like, oh no, they're doing the thing where you try to draw it out.
Is Tom Hardy in this television show?
Yes, he's phenomenal. He's basically a cameo.
Okay.
And he's an absurd character of which you can understand 0 words that come out of his mouth. If you watch this show without subtitles and you're an American and you know what's happening, you have a talent that needs to be used. You need to go join some type of lip reading service or something. Anyway, as I said, Cillian Murphy, the dude from, every Christopher Nolan movie over the past 15 years, is Thomas Shelby. He's awesome. All the other secondary characters have been fantastic too. It's a fictional gang loosely based on the Peaky Blinders, which was a real 19th century urban youth gang who were active in the city from the 1890s to the early 20th century. And they're called Peaky Blinders because they've got these razor blades in their hats, and they'll blind you with it.
That's why they're called Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
They keep a razor blade in their hat.
Like a little one. And when they get into the gang street fights and, they don't use guns in London or whatever, they do in the show. And they did back then. They cut you. Yeah, you're blind. Isn't that fucked up? Like any other weapon would have done, and you guys went with the razor blade to the eye?
In like the first episode, does somebody get blinded with a razor?
I don't remember. That was like 9 years ago when I watched it, but I want to say that yes, you see the fighting. They only touch on it like that one time because you tune into the show and you're like, okay, Peaky Blinders. First question, why are they called that? You find out, and then you're like, oh, God, that's stupid. Please don't have anything to do with anything. And then it thankfully doesn't. They don't go around
blinding
ripping
everybody
out
with razors.
With the razors and slashing eyeballs. It's fortunately that falls to the wayside.
Yeah, that's good.
That being said, highly recommend Peaky Blinders if you're, I don't know how you could possibly be like, I need another show. Where are they? But if you're in that boat right now, it happens. Happens to me with music sometimes where I'm like, how the fuck do I not have any music to listen to?
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders is a great option. And now, after we do another sponsor read real quick, Barrett's going to tell you about another show that he is watching, since I am not, that would be another great option. Support for OCC also comes from Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. If you've been using an incorrect tool with which to trim or groom your pubic region, you are a buffoon, but you are not alone. Most dudes have no idea what tools to use on their goods. I used to retire my old electric facial hair razor and try to use that as a body hair tool, and you end up with nicks and cuts and snags. It's nearly impossible to shave your own initials into your pubes with that shit. You need real tools for a real man. It's time to gear up and get yourself the gift of shaving this holiday season. I'm talking about the Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. The Lawnmower 2.0 comes inside their perfect package, which makes for the perfect gift this holiday season. The Lawnmower 2.0 is the razor, the electric razor y'all have heard me speak to from Manscaped for months now. It's literally everything you need to keep trimmed, cut-free, and smelling nice down there. Don't use the same trimmer on your face as you're using on your balls. That is disgusting. What is wrong with you? Manscaped.com. The code is OCC. You'll get 20% off. The Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0 also includes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits. Why are you not putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body, you stinky bald fuck? All these products smell good. Their manly scent is attractive and will help set the mood, if you know what I mean. Their perfect package also comes with a pair of Manscaped boxer briefs that'll keep your junk feeling fresh all day. It's time to upgrade. Those overused old boxers and shitty razors that y'all are trying to bootleg your faces and balls and dicks with. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code OCC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. MANSCAPED, manscaped.com. Code OCC. Clean up your nuts and make Santa proud this year. If your significant other, lover, brother, sister, mother, whoever has got bush that they need to deal with, you know where to send them. Manscaped.com. Code OCC. Barrett, let's talk about Mrs. Fletcher.
Yeah.
That's a smooth transition from Manscaped and testicle and penis maintenance to Mrs. Fletcher. Barrett's note here, he drew a penis.
Yeah.
While I was speaking.
With the equal signs and then a D.
Disgusting.
Capital D.
Disgusting. What is Mrs. Fletcher? My mom's is super
so,
high on this.
Mrs. Fletcher is on HBO. And it is a 30-minute dramedy. Shouts to all the 30-minute shows out there. Boy, do I love you. And it stars Katherine Hahn as a very recent empty nester. She's a single mom with an only child who sends her son off to college in the first episode. And it would appear, Ross, that she's about to have a sexual awakening.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I watched the first episode last night. First, I just want to say, you just mentioned, like, I don't know why you need to, if you need a show, Peaky Blinders is there for you in case you can't find any others.
Yeah.
From this point going forward, it's going to just be really, really difficult to, like, go dive into a show like Peaky Blinders for me because I want the new shiny things.
That's the problem with trying to put people back on something that's 6 seasons deep is it's like, look, but it's important still because I need to know which ones to go back and hit when we inevitably hit a lull at some point. Like, I have several of those in my mind already that I'm like, all right, here's an example of a show I didn't get to see that I can't wait to go watch. Fleabag was one for me up until recently. So, yes. To your point, though, yes.
Yeah, so it was like the 30-minute shows are perfect because people are figuring out how to pack so much story into them, and they can do and be all the things that these hour-long prestige dramas have kind of done for the last decade and a half or however long it's been. So, it's great because it gets to be 10, 10:30, 11. You're ready to wind down, but you kind of want to squeeze in one more show.
Yeah.
Like, thank God for The Mandalorian. Thank God for Mrs. Fletcher that you can just, like, toss on something and you don't have to, like,
It's not such a commitment.
it's not such a commitment, but also how many times have you watched all the episodes of The Office? Like, a lot. Like, I like to do that, but I also like to be able to kind of like make my way through some newer shows.
Sure.
So that's how I finally jumped into Mrs. Fletcher last night.
Okay, I'll just say the only thing I know about this is that I'd seen the preview, which
Right, yeah.
essentially told me
What I just
you've
said,
that
yes.
it's going to be a divorced woman whose kids are out, and she's
Yeah.
going to be having a sexual awakening.
Anyway, the first episode was very good. I could watch Catherine Hahn in essentially pretty much anything. She's awesome and sneaky hot and
Yeah, she's like,
just fun to watch on screen. She's just got kind of like this like very like natural magnetism,
she does. She's a magnetic, sexy woman.
and she's and even in this first episode, like she just seems very genuine. She never feels like she's like acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she has that look to her like she might come unhinged and like murder you in your sleep, which I find to be very attractive.
So just some notes on the first episode. You're gonna get a story about her son who just left and is a dickhead and is going off to college as well, which and I like that they're including that as well.
I'm looking at a column, the title of which is "Why is Mrs. Fletcher's son such a dick?"
In addition to like what she does now that he's out of the house and she's on her own.
Okay.
Other things that I wanted to just say based off of one episode. It's got to be really scary to be a single parent and then have your only kid go to college.
Why so?
Because like your entire life changes in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's a really
and all
quick.
of a sudden you like this living thing that you have had to dedicate the last 18 years of your life to
is gone.
and sucks up all of your time and most of your waking moments with concern, joy, disappointment,
Anger.
pride, anger, all of the above, all
Uh-huh.
the whole gamut of emotions
Yeah.
is now not there, and you have a whole place to yourself, and
It's a weird spot.
it's just a weird spot
So
to
is
be
that
in.
where that's where she launches from?
That's kind of where the first episode ends.
Okay, so
is
it's
like
kinda
with
like-
that, like the weight of that realization for her.
There's all this time now. What the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And that will obviously start to be sex, I hope.
Yeah,
Any
yeah,
nudity
yeah.
in episode 1?
No nudity. Only on somebody's computer screen as they turn on some porn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
HBO episode 1 of Mrs. Fletcher, only nudity on the computer.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, it's if you need a 30-minute show, and you want some light but also some heavy,
All right, let me ask you this
this
question.
seems to be a good one.
If
Seems like
you're-
it could be a good one.
This is one that I suspect is age specific. What I mean by that is, I think anybody can watch probably Peaky Blinders. I'm not trying to pit these two against each other,
Oh,
but I'm
sure,
just saying,
sure.
Peaky Blinders not age specific. Mrs. Fletcher, I have a feeling probably not great for like a 16-year-old boy.
That's a great point, and I no longer think about things like that because because I turned 33 in
I've
like
tried
4
to
days.
remind myself like
That's a
that
good point.
A lot of our listeners are younger than me,
Yeah.
and maybe they don't give a fuck about Mrs. Fletcher.
No,
for that
so I
reason.
would this is good. This is good. I would say sub 27 go Peaky Blinders.
There you
Older
go.
than 28 and up
Go Mrs. Fletcher.
Mrs. Fletcher.
Learn a little something about life and what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good note because as the only son, as an only child
Mhm.
who is also a son, like there are lots of relatable moments because my other thought here is that just like being a mom, I think there's out of all the things that make parents crazy, I think moms with their boys get it the worst.
Okay.
And I don't want to go. I don't want to be. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I've never,
Good God, man. I'm a doctor, not a pool
So I don't want to just like start throwing around psychobabble bullshit.
Well, it's your psychobabble bullshit, though.
But I'm going to anyways.
It's your truth, Barrett. Share it with us.
when you're a mom and you have a son,
Mm-hmm.
you basically have like a mini version of it's like a husband in a way.
Yeah.
This person is
You don't husband.
yeah, it's like a little mini husband who you do everything with and devote everything to.
And you got to keep it alive, like Baby Yoda.
Yeah. But there is even there's just something that's different about that specific relationship. And it's like then in high school, things start to change, and like that, it becomes
You need
like
Manscaped. Yeah.
you need a manscaper, right? But even though you kind of like lose that, even though you lose like the little boy who's so dedicated, right, or whatever.
Sure.
That he's still in your house, under your rules. He still has to live with you.
Right.
So you think about, you break up with somebody, you get a divorce, you move out the house.
Right. Not the case
But
here.
when your son is in high school, they still live with you. They still have to come to the dinner table every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you still get that. And then they leave, and it's just, I feel like it's like getting broken up with, basically.
I think this is you're speaking to a relationship that I obviously don't have context for, but because I'm not an only child, I have a little brother.
That's true. Yeah.
But I'll say this, as a dude who's observant or likes to think of himself as observant, I think there's a similar version of exactly what you explained. It's not the same. It's totally different, but for mothers and daughters, and then for fathers and daughters too. Like it.
Yeah, I mean,
the mother-daughter relationship is a very, very, very unique relationship, but then the father-daughter, for the same reasons that the mother-son are unique, are the same to me. They sort of play similarly.
But in the same way, man,
It's a totally different deal when you're an only child,
we are
too.
teetering on some ledges here, and I don't want to put my toe across into any weird sides here. But because of the dynamic between older men and like young girls,
like meaning the bad one,
the bad ones,
okay,
which just doesn't happen with like little boys and old women.
Yeah, I'm not touching that.
But serious.
I have no idea.
But serious question: when was the last time that it like popped up in the news?
It's always
that,
a
like,
teacher.
That like a 45-year-old woman like molested an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
The version of it you get from the female side is teachers preying on
right, and in
students
that
that
case,
are-
it's
that
always
are-
like 32 and 16,
17 or
and it's
16.
totally like
Different type of
yes,
deal.
it's predatory, but it's totally different, and everybody out there knows it.
Yeah, it's different than
And
a
it's
45-year-old sexually abusing a child. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I think that's what I'm saying. Like, because there has to be that sort of like space. And I don't have kids. I don't fucking know. But there is something different because like dad and daughter they're the mom son will always be like, think about Motherboy in Arrested Development. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
No,
Like there's that weird dynamic that's not sexual because it has none of the stigma
sure,
that like
but it's a totally different type of
men
relationship
and young girls have unfortunately put out there.
than like a father-son relationship. It's a completely different type of
Yeah, and then
deal.
father son is totally different.
Well, but
and then-
what you're speaking to has been played with and analyzed. Like, it's the exact. That was a great example. The Motherboy thing in Arrested Development. The relationship between, but even then, it's like Buster's a strange example because he wasn't an only child, but he's
the baby.
treated
He's
like
treated-
an only
yeah,
child,
yeah.
and basically
Yes.
raised like one, and
Yes.
he's now sort of their only child, while the other
Right.
ones are grown-ups for some reason. So it plays with that, and like. I feel like your difficulty in explaining that relationship is something that humans have struggled with forever. Like it's a weird relationship.
Yeah,
Because it's to take it to sort of touch on. I think you're saying there is another level to it over like the normal mother-son relationship when you're an only child, and there's a different type of bond there because it's just
Yeah.
inherently a different way to bring a young man through life or whatever.
Yes.
As a woman, it's a different
Yes.
deal. But yeah, no, don't feel bad for it being difficult to explain. I feel like that's the reason it's such a funny thing to play with on screen too, is because it's so hard to understand unless you're in it.
Yes. Yeah. And anyway, that's enough of that soapbox.
Mrs. Fletcher.
But if you think about like parental relationships with your kids and like just all that, if you have kids or if you're about to have kids, it's just something to, like you said, it's interesting stuff to play with. It will make you think. That's what I got.
Which is what I want. I just want to think about the stuff that's out there and what it means to me. I'm serious,
Good
man.
God, let me drink some water.
If a good show, yeah, I don't know where that was just the strangest space that we just jumped into at the end of Mrs. Fletcher there.
Well, you never know what you're going to get with a second helping of OCC.
You tried to psychologize yourself.
It did.
And it got weird.
Well, you know.
That's how it goes sometimes, Barrett.
I don't regret it.
Motherboy. And that will do it for today's episode of OCC. Huge thanks to our sponsors again for supporting the show. Make sure you support the sponsors to support us. Grab yourself something. Grab your family members, your friends, gifts, holiday season, shopping, Christmas, Hanukkah, all the different holidays. They're here. They're coming. Thanksgiving. I don't know. You give people gifts for Thanksgiving in your family. Get them something from one of the 4 sponsors we had on today's show. Use those codes. Save yourself some money. Get yourself some great products, presents, either way. If for some reason you're like, you know what, I just don't need any of those things, there is another way you can support us directly, and that's by going to patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. That's where you can get more OCC every month. That's what we explained to you at the top of today's episode. That's where you'll see video of this very episode that you've listened to. You're going to want to watch the part where Barrett jumps off the deep end into mother-daughter, mother-son relationships at the end to see my face in horror as he just, like, goes off the fucking shallow.
Yeah, Mike's over there. I bet he was so just enthralled, like, doing the cuts back and forth.
No, he was
being
zooming
like,
in.
Oh, my
like,
God, is he actually going to say this?
He
Oh,
was
my God,
zooming in really
what is Ross
slowly.
going to say back to this? Oh, my God.
You know, like a really intense moment in a movie when it's like, it just slowly pans in on one person? It was doing that to my face as you kept talking. And the horror in my eyes just lighting up. No, none of that happened. Yeah. But anyway, patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles. It's also where you can get additional episodes of OCC ad-free every month. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, you'll immediately gain access to our entire backlog, which includes Movie Club. Parasite was the movie we covered in November. We also covered Joker in October.
Joker.
The Righteous Gemstones. Fleabag Season 1 and 2 are way back there somewhere. There's all kinds of shit we've covered over the past several months, August, July, June. You get access to all of that when you join on patreon.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, in addition to immediate access to view this episode, which will be very, very cool. Make sure you support on Patreon. Also, for whatever, maybe you know a member of the Clam Fam, a buddy of yours, a family member of yours who also listens to the show. That's not a bad little gift. A little $5, $10 gift. Get yourself a Crustacean Nation Mollusk Militia membership for a family member or a friend if you must. Follow us on Instagram at Oysters, Clams, Cockles, on Twitter at Clams and Cockles, and on Facebook.com/Oysters, Clams, Cockles, where when new episodes drop or we're making announcements about what shows or movies we're going to be watching, that's where you can find those things on our social media platforms. You can follow me, Ross Bolen, at WRBOLEN, at WRBolen on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And you can hear me on the Ross Bolen podcast a couple times a week, wherever you hear OCC. It's a humor, comedy, health, life, mental health, addiction, pirates, animals, substance abuse, what else? Sports, current events. We talk about everything. The Ross Bolen podcast, available wherever you're listening to OCC. Barrett, where can we follow you and hear more from you?
Oh, you can follow me at Barrett Dudley on Twitter and on Instagram.
Tweeter.
And go check out Club Cool. We're coming out every Thursday right now. We're recording on Wednesday evenings.
Oh, sultry.
And then we're dropping on Thursdays. And we're just talking trash over there.
Just trash?
Yeah, just talking trash.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's a good show.
You can follow it on Instagram at Club Cool Pod. Yeah.
You're good? You're at Barrett Dudley.
At Barrett Dudley, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'll do it, I think. I think we're ready to go.
Okay.
Respect Mr. Park!